the Kings sort of profile as that team that, maybe they're your friendliest matchup in round one. That was the conversation last year. Who's going to want to line up with them this year? They wouldn't be the favorite in that series or have the home court advantage in that series. But I think still people look at the Kings and say, if you had your druthers, you'd go with them. I'm going to flip that because the track record of the Kings against good teams has been so positive. So I'm going to ask you, if you're the Kings, who are you looking at in the first round? I think we've established that the Pelicans are not the ones. You don't want that particular kind of smoke. But if you're the Kings, who are you thinking? You get your pick of them seeding matchups. Who would you like to see?
If we're looking at the current top four, right now the top four is Thunder, Wolves, Nuggets, Clippers, and if we're assuming the Kings don't launch themselves into the top four, because that feels pretty unrealistic.
It would be an incredible last few weeks.
It'd be pretty crazy. But if we're just picking based on the current top four, I think that the team that they would match up best with is going to be the Thunder. You're looking at another young team, doesn't have, the wealth of playoff experience. Shai has a little bit, but they match up fairly well and have played them well. I don't know that the Kings would win that series, but of the four, it would probably be my pick. I like Sabonis going at Chet just because, the physicality has given Chet some problems this year. That would be my pick, but it's also one of those things where you're picking up amongst four really great teams. So any one of those is going to be a really tough matchup. But the Kings have actually played well against all four of those teams. So, I feel like they'd have a decent shot at maybe having an upset, but you also wouldn't be too surprised if they didn't advance past any of those teams. So, it's kind of a weird thing, but I do think that they would match up best against the Thunder out of the current top four.
There would be a certain poetry to that too, where it's like 1 year after the Kings were the, darling story of the league. And everyone's like, how wonderful that they've gotten to this place this early to then turn around and just end the Thunder's version of that. We like that. There's the joy that we aspire to, but also this the viciousness that comes along the other side of it. This is still a game about buckets and competitors.